We continue with the Metamorphosis of Ovid by Ovid on Project Gutenberg. We're on book 1. Paphos, having accused Phaeton of falsely asserting that Phobos is his father. Phaeton requests Phobos as proof of his affection towards his child to allow him the guidance of the chariot of the sun for one day. This being granted, the whole earth is set on fire by him, and the Ethiopians are turned black by the heat. Jupiter strikes Phaeton with a thunderbolt, and while his sisters and his kinsman Sinus are lamenting him, so Zeus is Luke. Yes, Zeus was invented by Luke, the god of gods. All gods follow from Zeus. Hera was his daughter. We continue. The former are changed into trees, and Sinus into a swan. On visiting the earth, that he may repair the damage caused by the conflagration, Jupiter sees Callisto, and assuming the form of Diana, he debauches her. And we had got into the constellations. Her son, Asclepius, to schlep in Yiddish means to carry something with difficulty. Being cut out of the womb of Coronus and carried into the cave of Chiron, and centaur Okyrie, the daughter of Chiron, is changed into a mare. So one theme in Metamorphosis is changing from godlike or human-like figures into animal structures. Her father in vain invokes the assistance of Apollo, the god of the sea, for he is the guise of a shepherd, is tending his oxen in the country of Elis. He neglecting his herd, Mercury takes the opportunity of stealing it. Mercury is known as Hermes, the messenger god, for which he changes Bacchus into a touchstone for betraying him. Flying thence, Mercury beholds Herse, the daughter of Cecrops, and debauches her. Her sister Aglaros, being envious of her, is changed into a rock. Again, the metamorphosis, this time not into an animal, but into a rock. Mercury returns to heaven, on which Jupiter orders him to drive the herds of Agenor towards the shore, and then assuming the form of a bull, he carries Europa over the sea to the Isle of Crete. Agenor commands his son Cadmus to seek his sister Europa. While he is doing this, he slays a dragon in Boeotia, and having sowed its teeth in the earth, men are produced, indeed from teeth, with whose assistance he builds the wall of Thebes. Thebes is famous in ancient Greece. His first cause of grief is the fate of the grandson Acton, who being changed into a stag, is torn to pieces by his own hounds. This, however, gives pleasure to Juno, who hates not only Semele, the daughter of Cadmus, and the favorite of Jupiter, but all the house of Agenor as well. Assuming the form of Beroa, she contrives the destruction of Semele by the lightnings of Jupiter, while Bacchus, being saved alive from his mother's womb, is brought up on the earth. Jupiter has a discussion with Juno at the 4-minute mark, relative pleasures of the sexes, and they agree to the question of Tiresias. Indeed, Tiresias is indelible in Abraham Lincoln's story of Oedipus Rex, who had been of both sexes. He gives his decision in favor of Jupiter, on which Juno deprives of sight, and by way of recompense, Jupiter bestows on him the gift of prophecy. His first prediction is fulfilled in the case of Narcissus, who, despising the advances of all females, in whose number is Echo, who has been transformed into a sound, as last pines away with love for himself, and is changed into a flower which bears his name. Pentheus, however, derides the prophet, who predicts his fate, and his predictions are soon verified. And the Bacchanals. And here is Andromeda, He changes seaweed into coral and after marries her. Book 5. A tumult arises during the celebration of the nuptials. Phineus claims Andromeda, who had been betrothed to him, and together with Protos, he and Polydectes are turned into stone. Pallas, who has aided Perseus, now leaves him and goes to Helicon to see the fountain of Hippocrene. The Muses tell her story. No, the Muses tell her the story of Pyramus and Pyridas, who were transformed into magpies after they had repeated various songs on the subjects of the transformation of deities into various forms of animals. The rape of Proserpine, the wanderings of Ceres, the change of Sion into a swan, of a boy into a lizard, of Asolphus into an owl, of the sirens into birds and part, of Aruthasa into spring, of Lycinus, of Lyncus into a lynx, and so on. Influenced by the example of the Muses, Pallas determines on the destruction of Arachne, which means spider. She enters her with her into a contest for the superiority in the art of weaving. Each represents various transformations on her web, and then Arachne is changed into a spider. Niobe, however, is not deterred thereby from preferring her own lot to that of Latona, on account of which, at the 6:30 mark, are claimed by Apollo and Diana, she is changed again into a rock. On learning this, one person relates the transformation by Latona of Lycian rustic into frogs. Another calls into mind how Marsyas was flayed by Apollo. Niobe is lamented by Pelops. Again, Penelope in Homer's Ulysses is Odysseus' wife, whose shoulder is of ivory. To console the Thebans in their afflictions, ambassadors come from the adjacent cities. The Athenians alone are absent, as they are attacked by hordes of barbarians, who are routed by Tyrrhus. The Athenians are famous democrats. The Spartans are famous soldiers. However, neither has the other. Tyrrhus, coming into a second time to Athens, takes back with him to his kingdom Philomela, his wife's sister, and having committed violence on her with the other Normandies, he is transformed into a hoopie, while Philomela is changed into a nightingale, and Progne becomes a swallow. Pandion, hearing of these wondrous events, she dies of grief. Erectus succeeds him, whose daughter Oreithia is ravished by Boreas, and him the mother of Callis and Zeths, who are the number of Argonauts on the following occasion. Jason of the Argonauts in the ship of Theseus, by the aid of Medea, having conquered the bulls that breathe forth flames, having sowed the teeth of a serpent, from which armed men are produced, and having lulled the dragon to sleep, recovers the golden fleece. My sense is these are synopses, which is cool. This is the actual book. Let's see advertising. So we are on Fable 2. Maybe. So let's see the explanation. The ancient philosophers, unable to comprehend how something could be produced out of nothing, suppose a matter pre-existent to the earth. Something could be produced out of nothing. A matter pre-existent to the earth in its present shape, which afterwards received form and order from some powerful cause. The idea that God created the earth. Perhaps not. Perhaps God contained the earth, or multitudes of galaxies. According to them, God was not the creator, but the architect of the universe, arranging and disposing the elements and situations most suitable to their respective qualities. This is the chaos so often sung by the poets, of which agnosticism or general anxiety is created. It is clear that this system was but a confused and disfigured tradition of the creation of the world, as mentioned by Moses, something I'm not aware of, and thus beneath these fiction there lies some faint glimmering of truth. The first two chapters of the book of Genesis, the mayor of New York Mr. Gillespie or Rudiani Giuliani loves those books, will be found to throw considerable light on the foundation of this mythological system of the world's formation. Hesiod, the most ancient of the heathen writers who have enlarged upon this subject, seems to have derived much of his information from the works of Sanchiniotto, who is supposed to have borrowed his ideas concerning chaos from that passage in the second verse of the first chapter of Genesis. Sanchiniotto, it means symphony in Russian, which mentions the darkness that was spread over the whole universe, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. For he expresses himself almost in those words. This is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? It's exquisite. Sanctiotto lived before the Trojan War and professed to have received his information respecting the original construction of the world from a priest of Jehovah, something Harry is very familiar with, named Jerombal. He wrote in the Phoenician language, but we have only a translation of his works. Phoenician comes from Lebanon, by Philo Judaeus, which is by many supposed to be spurious. It is, however, very probable that from him the Greeks borrowed their notions regarding chaos, which they mingled with fables of their own invention. After the separation of the matter, God forgives pleasure. God gives form and regularity to the universe, and all other living creatures being produced. Prometheus molds earth tempered with water into human form. Wow. Which is animated by Minerva. When thus he, whoever of the gods he was, had divided the mass so separated, and reduced it so divided into distinct members, in the first place that it might not be unequal on any side, like a square, he gathered it up as a vast globe and commanded the sea to pour against it, growing boisterous, raging winds surrounding the shores, earth encompassed by it, also springs, pools, lakes, rivers as they flow, slanting banks, different places, are some of them swallowed up, as exposed by Hershey in Hiroshima. Some of them reach the ocean and received in the expanse of waters that take a freer range. We can stop here to decide for ourselves what is a classic book, right? This is certainly a classic. The classics tend to have mythological construct. I would say the Bible, especially the Old Testament, is firmly entrenched in that tradition. He commanded the plains too to be extended, the valleys to sink down, the woods to be clothed, the craggy mountains, and on the right hand side, two zones intersect the heavens, and as many on the left, and as there is a fifth element, so did care of Dostoevsky, mass of the earth by the same number, and as many climates are marked out upon the earth. Of these there were mountains, not habitable on the account of the height, deep snows of Kilimanjaro. Beside either were both, and on each was another. Over these hangs the air, which is heavier than fire. I believe Prometheus is the god of fire. In the same degree that the weight of water is lighter than the weight of the earth, there are vapors, the thunder too, mortals, mere mortals. The contriver of the world does not allow these indiscriminately to take possession of the sky. Even now, they each of them govern their own blast. They are with great difficulty prevented from rendering the world asunder, so great is the discord of the brothers. Eurus took his way, Nabath, Persia, Aurora, and the evening star, that the shores which are warm with the setting sun, the bordering upon Zephyrs, a zephyr like a gale is a wind. The terrible Boreas invaded Scythia and regions of the north. Again, Scythe, or not Somalia, but Syria, um, Lebanon, Iraq are ancient Mesopotamia. The opposing quarter is wet with continual clouds. The southern wind, over these he placed the firmament, clear that there is no northern star, that the slaves prayed to. Scarcely had he separated all these fixed limits when the stars, which had long lain hid, conceal that there are not necessarily these limits, that no region may be destitute by its own peculiar animated beings, the stars in the forms of the gods possess the tract of heaven, the waters fell to the smooth fishes. What a beautiful remark. The earth received the wild beasts, and the yielding air the birds. So, yeah, I used to think elephants were awesome, whales were awesome, but today I gotta tell you, squirrels are numero zwei after elephants. Squirrels tend to have a Japanese accent. It's just the truth. And they are wise beyond their years. They are incredibly fierce. They're incredibly athletic. They are incredibly disciplined, and so on and so forth.